Hey everybody, this is Jose Blasco here. I'm just doing a sound check before we start the session in 20 seconds. Please go ahead and type a quick message on the chat box to confirm sound is good. You hear my voice, also volume, clarity, it's all good. So I know we are ready to go. Thank you guys. Just 10 seconds and we begin. Wonderful. Perfect. Okay, let's maximize the introduction slide so we can have a proper launch of the session today. Looking at the chat box, very, very nice. How are you, Bojan? Melanie, how are you? Nitesh, Lilan, Ray, Ahmad, Sandy, Ruben. Very nice to see you all, my friends. Welcome to the session. Today it's April 9, 2020. We are getting together today to look at the market from a little bit of a longer term perspective. When we do that, we use options. We use options for directional and non-directional trading purposes. So we look for opportunities in all those different domains, looking for opportunities, but also diversification on how we enter, on how we approach the markets, building diversified portfolios, and so on. Is it? Anyway, before we start, I have a disclaimer to read. I will do that. In parallel, you may notice my voice a bit distracted. Believe me, I'm not. I'm just multitasking a little bit because I'm having a little issue with my TradeStation. I've been fighting a little bit with the scanner, and I want to rerun the scanner in the background so that way we can start the session with all of it working for us. And that way we're going to be more efficient. Okay, so just give me 1 second. I'm just relaunching TradeStation on my other computer screen, and I will read the disclaimer, and then we go. Okay, everybody, sorry for that. Just it's going to be a mini interruption. Just let's call it 30 seconds or so. Almost there. So yeah, so restarting TradeStation now. I'm just typing username and password, and almost there. Okay. Okay. So, disclaimer, everybody. Disclaimer. The following videos, clips, demonstrations are for educational and instructional purposes only. Tradictive provides these videos purely for the purpose of demonstrating a method of using the product. Users understand that all the content used in the video is purely for demonstration purposes only and is not a guide and does not provide any indication or prediction of actual results. As a user, you understand and agree that hypothetical results obtained through a demonstration do not indicate in any way the results you may receive when using our products. Okay? Good. So I'm bringing TradeStation in the main screen. On my way, here we go. So here's TradeStation. Okay. We have TradeStation running in just a second. You can see I'm having errors on the scan, so I'm gonna have to reload those scans, okay? And I am also having a problem with the initialization. As you can see, I got a TA red color. Okay, now it's green. So again, the reasons for all of that, and let me let you know, if you are attending the sessions that I've been running in the past, let's call it 2 weeks, you probably remember I said before, I am not in my normal location. The country's in lockdown, and the craziness in the world is having me, run the session from a different location, which is not my usual location. That's also the reason why I'm not using the camera today to minimize the use of the bandwidth. And all of this is creating, a few problems, which hopefully don't go beyond what I just described. Okay, so everything should be okay. We had no problem on Tuesday, but today I did have a little bit of additional latency that gave me a few problems with the scanners. Okay, so hopefully this pass will run well, and then we'll go through the normal process. If not, it's okay. We'll do things manually, and it's still a good practice. Okay, but I just want you to know, guys, that I am not in my normal location, given the craziness out there in the world, and that's what it is. Okay, Ruben, I am back with TS 9.5. because it was crashing all the time. How do I deactivate UFO 9.5? You don't have to do anything, Ruben. The moment you log in, you will have Auto UFO and Auto Climate in 9.5. Just like if you log in on a 10.0, you will have the apps natively inside your TraceStation by default. Okay. Cool. Okay. And by the way, since we are talking about TraceStation, and we need a little bit of time for the scans to also run. I also wanted to mention that update 44 on TraceStation. I will show you that on my screen. So I do have an option here, which is Update Manager. I would guess most of you don't have it unless you are part of the test program with TraceStation, which today I got to know thanks to Ruben, actually, who is here with us today. I got to know that the test program as of now is not accepting more testers. Okay, so you cannot get this option. I do, but basically I'm just gonna click on it and notice I'm running update 45. So TraceStation 10 is supposed to update automatically for you, but they don't do it exactly when the updates come out. They do it based on some sort of, let's call it a protocol that they have, and randomly they pick accounts and they keep upgrading customers in batches to not to saturate their servers. Okay, so if you are not using 45 and you're still using 44, know that update 44 has been known as problematic. Okay, so you could contact TraceStation. Hopefully they can help you to force the upgrade to 45. To me, it's easy to do because I am part of the test program, so I can see all my updates and I can roll back or go for the last one. But if you don't have this, you will need to call TraceStation, especially if you are using 44. Well, 44, as I said, it's known as a problematic update. Okay. And 9.5, if you wish, it's less heavy on your computer, so normally it's more stable. But the problem with 9.5 is that anytime they will stop supporting it, and the moment they do that, then you're gonna be left with a problem. So I would suggest to work with 10.0, and if you do have a problem, I can read your message, Ruben, and I know you are having a problem. So I would say contact TraceStation and work with them. And normally they will help you. Okay, even though there are times where the on installation on your computer to make 10 to work well, it's quite heavy. You have to clean registry, and there are times where it's not that easy. But don't give up, okay? Because you should find a way to have it stable. Okay. In my case, my problems are not coming because of TraceStation. They're coming because of my internet connection. Unfortunately, I am far away from the US. I am in Singapore, as you guys know, and being far away, I got a lot of latency. And if my connection is not a good one, which is the case, so the latency becomes a big problem. Actually, look at my settings here. When I look at settings under scanner and I look at preferences, okay, I have to move my timeout duration all the way to 2 minutes, okay, to give TraceStation additional time to make sure all the symbol data has been downloaded before the scanner begins processing information. So anyway, what is this doing for me? Well, this is doing what this is doing for me is making my scans to run so slow. So my computer power right now, it's very underutilized, but still I'm still in the 35% here. Why is that? Well, because I got this timeout, which is waiting. Every time there is a little bit of missing data, is waiting up to 2 minutes, and this is slowing down my process big time. Okay, it's all about the connection I have where I am at the moment, which unfortunately I'm greatly limited given the confinement and the lockdowns out there in the world. Okay. Anyway, so let's begin. Okay, let's begin the session. So first of all, I would like to look at what's going on in the market. Okay, and you know what? I'm just gonna maximize the daily time frame of the S&P. Okay, I'm just having dots there. Okay, but really it doesn't really matter what the candles are or the shape at the moment, because the only thing I want to check at the moment is auto climate. Okay, so what do we have with auto climate? Well, auto climate is giving us for third consecutive day a blue dot, thick color blue dot, meaning that we have a confirmed up climate in the daily time frame with the S&P. We are dealing with candle number 3 out of 11. Okay, well, if the market behaves the way it normally behaves based on stats, we are going to see maybe another week of the market going up before there is another correction or crash. Okay, So this is what is likely to happen based on probabilities. Okay, so it's a good day. Okay, it's a good week, I would say, to focus on purchasing stocks. Okay, but again, before I get into specific trades, and obviously I'm waiting for the scanner too, but before I get into specific trades, specific opportunities, etc., I also want to make sure that all of you understand that every time, especially because in the sessions, many of you may be watching the session recorded, many of you may be new. So I always need to rephrase, okay, and make sure you all understand that stocks are the most fragile asset of all the assets. So let's say, for example, you were to buy 10 stocks. Well, if the market crashes, you are really in a bad position because your 10 stocks are likely moving against you, probably even faster than the S&P, being individual stocks, because they are less liquid. Okay, so when dealing with stocks, we always talked about the concept of building portfolios. Okay, building portfolios, meaning that you get into positions where you always have stocks where you go long with them, and you always have stocks where you go short with them. And by doing that, okay, you end up producing a delta diversification, which on top of that, with options, you add the delta and the gamma, which is such a beautiful Greek, isn't it? And now you end up with a hedge portfolio where when the market moves in both directions, you are likely going to make profits. You will make profits at a slower pace compared to the size of those moves, but you will make profits consistently because when some stocks are moving against you, other stocks are profiting for you, and that is likely going to produce very stable results. So again, we talked about portfolio diversification. We talked about all of this in the sharpening channel, in the sharpening playlist in our YouTube channel. Take a look if you don't know what I'm talking about. You are focused on what on how to approach trading stocks. When looking at the markets myself during the sessions like today, where we do longer term trading, I will always assume that every opportunity I find, you need it. So anytime I find an opportunity, I'll plan it beginning to the end. Now, executing or not that opportunity depends on you, meaning depending on how many other trades you are already running in your portfolio. Let's say you want to be positioned with 70% delta positive, 30% delta negative. Let's say you want a portfolio like that, given the market conditions. And let's say you already got plenty of positive deltas, but what you need now is negative deltas. And let's say I happen to plan a positive delta position. Well, even though I will assume you need it, actually you don't if you need negative deltas. Is that making sense? So always keep that in mind. Since we are all different, I cannot run as many portfolios as you guys, because that's just not doable, isn't it? It's too many of you and only one of me. But hopefully the concept is clear, okay, and you know where I'm going, and most importantly what you should be doing, okay. Melanie, I was on TS10 and it crashed every single trading day from 312 to the end of the month, sometimes more than 5 times a day. I deleted cache and installed. Yes, and that was the time with update 44. Okay. Yeah, that was the time. Yeah, so Melanie, yes, we will be getting deeper into portfolio management and things like that. There are multiple additional tools for coaching that I will be releasing throughout the year. I remember we had special sessions in December, isn't it, at the end of the year, and we talked about, hey, we need to do trading psychology, we need to do things. So we're going to be releasing multiple sessions. By the way, this is not totally confirmed yet, but almost, okay? So make a note, okay? Make a note and feel free to spread the word as well. On April 20, okay, April 20 and 21, which is Monday and Tuesday, we will probably run a free class for all of you guys, okay, on trading plans. And probably following that, we will also run, that's going to be 2 days, right? Monday and Tuesday, 20 and 21. And probably after those 2 days, the following 3 days or the week after, we are still planning it, okay? We will also run a class on backtesting, okay? So again, things that we said in December that, we would add additional support. So we'll be doing that, okay? So we will email you, all of you are part of the Trade with UFO community. So, we send you reminders 24 hours before each session, isn't it? We send you emails with a link to be able to watch the recording of the sessions that we do together. So same method, okay? Soon you will receive an email where we'll confirm those dates. And again, as I said, it's gonna be free. So all of you are more than welcome to register for the class and attend, okay? So apart from being committed to helping you guys in your development, as I think we have proven, certainly we are at a time in the world where it's crazy. We are very, very sensitive to it. It's unprecedented. Millions of families are stuck at home with nothing to do, with potentially losing their jobs, things like that. And we want to help. We want to collaborate. Okay, so we're gonna be lining up some stuff, some additional content, and so on. And just pay attention to your emails. You'll know more about it soon. Okay, cool. Ahmad, Jose, I cannot register for Andrew Han class. Can you help? Yes, that's very easy. Okay, for Andrew's class, the only thing you need, okay, and really my translation is really taking a long time, as you can see. But anyway, so let me go ahead and answer Ahmad's question. So tradewithufos.com. Okay, so just give me 1 second here. Here we go. So here's tradewithufos.com, isn't it? This is our website. Okay, so if you click on join, okay, so tradewithufos.com, you click join. Okay, when you come to this website, basically you have a easy to see, easy to understand view of the key services our company provides, right? So the course you are mentioning when it comes to Andrew's class for next week is this one right here, live online, okay? The Survival to Mastery Forex in Action live online, okay? So if you come here and you click agree and join, okay, so what this is gonna do is it's gonna bring you to the store built in our website, okay? And then you can pick the date here, 27th of April to 2nd of May, Andrew Han, okay? So you just go ahead and click add to basket. And the moment you do that, okay, you are ready now to proceed and check out, okay? There are coupons available. I don't know how many more early bird coupons are available, okay? But there is an early bird coupon called Early Bird X1, okay? So, you got that one, and you also have the X2 and also the X3. So depending on dates, on how early you are, okay, it may work, it may not work. I don't remember by heart the dates. Let me see if the X1 works. Okay, yes, the X1 worked. Okay, it got you 10% off. So what about we do the X2? So X2, does it work? The X2 also worked. So you got 23 and 23. Okay, so what about the X3? Did the X3 work? 1, 2, 3, X3. Yeah, that coupon has expired. Okay, so you can get 20% off the class, and it's 186. Okay, and this is how you do it, Ahmad. Okay, it's very, very simple. Cool. Sandy, I'm from Indonesia. Wonderful. Wonderful. You're working with Duyan. Fantastic. You're in very good hands, my friend. Very, very good hands. Okay, so anyway, this is still processing. The long, the short, the non-directional. Wow, it's taking a very, very long time. Again, I really apologize for that. I've been running this for 2 hours until I thought the scans were in place. I launched them 2 hours ago, and then when I look at it, it was all stock. So apologize for that. But anyway, let's keep going. So the S&P, okay, so what do we have? We have an up climate with the S&P, okay? And what I would like to check as well, okay, is the VIX, okay? So let me go ahead and move to the daily time from here. I want to move to the VIX, $VIX.X, to also understand better where we are at when it comes to implied volatilities, okay? Melanie, are the trading plan and backtesting sessions going to be recorded? Yes. My son works in the oil fields and won't be back until May. No problem. It will be recorded, and you'll be able to access the recording as well. You need to be registered though. So pay attention to that email that we'll send, because you will use a special link with a special password, which is your password. Same for your son. Ask your son to register, so that way he'll have his special link, his special password, and then with those passwords, you guys will be able to play back the recordings, okay, with no deletion date ahead. Okay, so you could just watch it at your own pace and whenever it works. Okay. Yeah. So again, I cannot provide you with the links as of yet because I don't have it yet. Okay, but just keep that in mind that we are working hard to organize that for 20 and 21. Okay. Okay. So I'm really having big problems here with my technology on my end today. It is not a very happy day internet wise. um, I did manage to stabilize the stream with YouTube, so I believe that you see and you hear me well. But when it comes to connecting with TrustStation servers, I am really struggling with the latency today. Okay, which is a problem because obviously I feel terrible not being able to run the session smoothly for you guys. So we're gonna have to find a little bit of a different approach. Okay, so let's stay positive. Okay, I would say, and what I would say is, so let's pretend that what is happening to me right now, let's say this is happening to you any other day, because let's face it, any day we can have a technology problem. Okay, so it's always good to have backup plans in place. Okay, so you know what to do if something happens and you don't get stuck. Is that making sense? So remember, one thing, especially if you're a TrustStation user, one thing you could do for execution and maintenance purposes, one thing you could do is to either have your TrustStation app installed on your phone. So at least for execution or management purposes, let's say you need to move a stop or things like that. So you can certainly do that with a mobile app. Hopefully the mobile app, being connected directly to your phone, and your phone has its own independent internet connection. Hopefully it works well. Okay, so if that's the case, great, congratulations. At least you can manage your trades. Okay, but also it could happen that it doesn't work well. Okay, so if it doesn't work well, then we have covered. I'm just gonna bring very quickly the YouTube channel, super quick. Okay, we have covered again, pointing at the sharpening playlist. Okay, we have covered TrustStation tips and TradingView tips. Okay, and the reason why I'm pointing at those two videos is because there is a way. I will not do it today, but there is a way to connect TradingView to TradeStation. And what's the benefit of doing that? Well, the benefit of doing that is, as you can see, my web services do work well. So if your web is working, okay, I just got disconnected from the TrustStation network, by the way. I just got an error message. I'm just gonna bring it here so you see. So yeah, today I'm just having a big problem to reach the TrustStation network, okay, which is really unfortunate. But again, notice that my problem is with the network, okay, but web services are working fine. So if you were to connect TradingView to TrustStation, then it will work fine. Why is that? Because the connection between TradingView and TrustStation doesn't happen going through your place. It happens through a direct connection between TradingView and TrustStation. So in other words, the way it works, it's kind of like this. Okay, so it's kind of let's say this box here is TrustStation, and this box here is you, and the circle in the middle is TradingView. So what happens is that you connect to TradingView, okay, and TradingView connects with TrustStation. So if your connection with TrustStation directly was not working well, okay, so by going through TradingView, you benefit from an alternative connection, okay, and in this sense, okay, a little bit of a tech lesson today, isn't it? In this sense, so you have a little bit of a backup plan, which is richer than using the TradeStation app, because the TradeStation app allows you to maintain a trade or change a stop or do something like that. But the TradeStation app does not allow you to turn on AutoUFOs and things like that, where with TradingView, you could do that, isn't it? So, in that sense, you have more functionality. And in this sense, now I can continue doing some level of analysis using TradingView, looking for the very same setups I would look if my TrustStation was running. The only thing I'm going to miss is the scanner, because TrustStation does not TradingView does not have a scanner or a red screen like TradeStation does. Okay, well, let me rephrase that. TradingView does have a screener here in the bottom part, okay, and it's a pretty powerful screener. But the problem of this screener is that basically the only thing you can do with it, okay, is work with certain filters and certain things which are, let's call it, standard. You cannot come up with pretty advanced parameters, and certainly you cannot add here options data. So I could maybe filter stocks that are above an EMA, where stuff like that, and identify certain market conditions. But then I am totally blind with TradingView when it comes to options data. Okay, so that then it's really problematic because I have to do things by hand. Okay, so long story short, if you ever need to use a scanner or a screener and you don't have TradeStation, which I understand actually many of you don't use TradeStation, okay? So then I would say maybe an alternative place that could be okay. I mean, TradeStation is going to be the best place, but an alternative place that could be okay is that you use a free website called finviz.com. Well, with finviz.com, there is some functionality which is free, and then there is some functionality which is paid as well, okay? But they have a screener, okay? And I'm pretty positive that at least half of the group, probably you have seen this website before because it's quite common in the industry. Okay, so I want to point at it and give you a few indications. Okay, so we build a list for ourselves, and then we're gonna go work on the list with TradingView, and that's gonna be our plan B if we ever have a problem like the one I'm having myself today, which is unfortunate, but at least it gives us this opportunity to talk about plan Bs. Okay, let me see. Let me see. Adapt, improvise, overcome. You recognize that sound? Oh yes, the one with a disconnection. Andrew, how are you, Andrew? Hello, Jose, and everyone. Since completing Survival to Mastery, I have been having great success with your excellent indicators and methodology. Thanks for that. I have had many safety targets hit, but struggle with the management of the final target. I have difficulty keeping trade often. Even though I have backtested many currencies, I am very well aware of probabilities. Any suggestions? I am thinking more backtesting. Sorry, long one. That's a good one, Andrew. That's a good one. Unfortunately, today's a trading day, right? So even though it's a weird trading day because I got technology problems. So let me ask you this question, Andrew, if you don't mind. Are you available on Sunday 14? Okay, and the reason why I'm saying that is because did I say 14? Is it 14 Sunday? Let me double check that. Maybe I haven't said it right. Sunday 12. Sorry for that. Sunday 12. And the reason why I'm pointing at Sunday is because Sunday we are doing a sharpening session. And I would certainly love to take care of your question at that moment in time. And we don't need to rush into the explanation because this is a very, very, very important question, the one you ask. And I would like to not to rush into it. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So if you don't mind, copy paste what you just wrote here, keep it for Sunday, and you just paste it again on Sunday, and then Sunday we'll take our time to talk about it. Okay. So anyway, so finviz.com. Okay. So this screener has many functions here which are available. Okay. You got descriptive, you got fundamental, you got technical, and finally, you got all, okay? Normally, technical are going to be the ones that we are looking for, given the fact that we are planning trades, okay, based on what the charts are telling us. So, I mean, if you were to be investors and you look at fundamentals, things like that, nothing wrong with this. But, what the TradeStation scanner does actually, it's purely technical. So I'm just going to click on technical or all, any of the two would work, okay? So in this case, I got technical here, okay? Let me tell you what I am missing on some of the fields I need, which are in descriptive. So I'm just gonna click all. So I got everything available. Okay, good. So now what are we gonna do? Okay, well, you got exchanges here. Okay, so you could filter by exchanges if, let's say, you are focusing on New York Stock. New York Stock Exchange stocks or things like that, you could do that. Okay, but in my case, I'm gonna go for any because I want to find as many as possible. Okay, price. Okay, so we want to set a minimum price of in the scanner. We have minimum 15 for the directional trades, minimum 50 for the non-directional trades. This is what we have. Okay, this is what we have. Since if I select 15, the list is going to be very long. I'm just going to start with a minimum of 50, just because I'm not going to be able to filter as well with FinViz compared to TradeStation. So I'm going to be a little pickier here. Okay, and this dropped the amount of stocks to 1,360. Okay, what else are we going to do here? The other thing that we're going to look, let me move all the way to the right first. Where are the options? Where are the options? They used to be here. Operating margin, country, change for open, pattern, options, and short. Here we go. So that's what I was looking for. Okay, so optionable. Okay, you will want to select optionable, but actually I want to select optionable and shortable, because the stocks that are the most liquid, normally they will almost always have inventory to be shorted. So somehow picking shortable, even though we are not gonna use stocks, we're gonna use options, but picking shortable adds a little bit when it comes to liquidity filtering to the list. Okay, now we are down to 978. What else are we gonna do? Okay, so we're gonna be looking at volume. I want to look at volume. We have the current volume. I'm looking at the average volume. Here we go. Okay, and we want the average volume in the scanners of TradeStation. If I'm not mistaken, we are looking for at least 500K. I'm going to be pickier again because I want to make my list to be shorter, especially because I can look at the volume of those stocks, but I cannot look at the volume of the options, which is what I really care about. I mean, I care about both, but certainly you probably remember with the TradeStation scanner, we are looking at open interest and things like that, and now I cannot do it here. So I'm going to pick 1 million. That's going to force everything to be a bit more liquid and make my list a bit shorter. Now we are dealing with 454. Okay. What else do we have? Okay, so volatility. Volatility, another way to think of volatility. Okay. So you have volatility per week, per month. You know, this, another way to look at this would be average true range. Okay. Now average true range is a fixed dollar value, where volatility here, it's a percentage of price movement. Okay. But again, the problem with both of these is that I would like to compare either the average true range or the volatility. I would like to compare that with the implied volatility of the options, and unfortunately, I don't have this in this particular scanner. So in that sense, I am a bit limited. Okay, I am a bit limited. Okay, let me see what else do we have now. 20-day simple moving average. Okay. So what do we have? We have the price is below, the price crossed, or the here we go, or where is the above? See, here we go. Price is above, price is below, or the SMA has crossed. Okay, so normally we don't use SMA, we use EMA. Normally we don't use 20, we use 9, but you know, we don't have anything, right? So what I would like to do? Okay, well, to try to save myself a little bit of time, if I'm looking for stocks in an uptrend, I would want price to be above. Okay, it may not be ideal, but I would like it to be above, but I don't want it to be above too much, because if it's above by too much, then it's going to take an eternity for price to come back to the 9 EMA, right? So then I'm going to select price above, but only by 10%. If I do this, this is going to drop the amount of opportunities to 300, still many, okay? And this initially would be opportunities for me to go long, and later I can come back and do the same thing, price above by 10%, and we'll see how this looks like on the chart, because ultimately we're gonna have to deal with it, you know, in our trading view. Okay. What else do we have? Return on assets, performance, average range, target price. I think that would be it. I'm just making sure I'm not forgetting anything, because I don't use this one every day. Relative volume, current volume. Okay, so now here we got an RSI. Okay, RSI is an indicator that we don't use in the sessions. Okay, in the sessions we use AutoClimate, but here I don't have AutoClimate, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the RSI to be less than 60, meaning it's not overbought. Okay, so it's not too expensive. Let's put it this way. So this market, it's not too expensive. Okay, not too expensive, and it's above an EMA, above an SMA, meaning as it's moving up and it's not too expensive. Okay, so that kind of makes sense. Okay, in the sense of potentially looking for opportunities that may look okay when I turn on AutoClimate in it. Okay, and then when it comes to patterns, let me see, channel up. Here we go. So I'm going to look at channel up. Okay, so channeling up above the EMA, not overbought. Okay, I got none. Okay, market has not been moving higher for long enough to be seen as channeling up. Okay, and therefore yeah, nothing else here would help me really with what I need. Okay, good. So guys, I got this list here. I got 281 stocks. Again, it's way too tedious if I now want to go over 281 stocks one by one on TradingView. So what I can do to alleviate myself, okay, the not overbought, I'm not going to change it because that's what it is. The price above the SMA by 10%, I don't have any other choices. This one is the best, okay? So the only two parameters, and optionable as well, I need that, okay? So the only two I could work with is over 50 and the volume to be greater than 1 million, okay? So because I'm looking at options to be as liquid as possible, because that really helps the trades. So I'm gonna change this to $2 million, looking to make my list to be shorter. Let's see how much shorter it's gonna be. Now I got 165, it's still a lot to be honest, okay? Yeah, but then it goes, then that's it, okay? So that's the best. I can adjust it, okay? So I'm just gonna move to the next level, okay? I'm gonna go for over $80, see how many I got. That's 94, still too much. What if I do over 100? Again, I would like this list to be, let's call it 20, 30. That would be ideal because I want to do this manually. I still got 61, okay? So we have some work to do here. And certainly what I could do is I could click on the price column and that would sort the prices, okay? Bottom is 100. If I click again, the top is going to be 500 something, okay? So we got Tesla, that's the first on the list, okay? So from here, now, okay, I would move into TradingView, okay? And let me do this. I'm just gonna go ahead and create a new chart layout for this. Okay, change my settings. I have a template here. Make it light. Here we go. I don't need volume. Good. Okay, and then I'll add my AutoClimate. Okay, so we'll start with the AutoClimate. And that's what we're gonna do, okay? So first thing, we are gonna look at the daily time frame with Tesla, okay? So what do we have? We have an up climate, 3 candles, okay? Where the climate should be 10 candles. So certainly it makes sense to plan on executing a trade on that stock, okay? If I turn on the EMA, where would my EMA be? I'm gonna make it black color, so it's very visual for everybody. Okay, here's the EMA. So 525, it's the EMA. Okay, let me show the label for the current price as well. Okay, so the current price is 570, the EMA is 525. So let's find out. Let me turn on AutoUFOs. And I'm going to move to the 55-minute time frame to see if we have UFOs lining up 525. Okay, so 550 to 540 and 525 is here in the middle of a gap. Okay, so the limitation here with TradeStation, of course, I would be able to see the performance stats and be much more precise at understanding if this trade is to be taken or not. With TradingView, I don't have that feature, okay, but it's still okay. I still have the UFO, so it's still quite convenient, okay. But problem is that around 525 we don't have a UFO, okay. So what am I gonna do? I'm just gonna go ahead and pick the next one on the list, which is Shopify. Okay, shop. Okay, I'm just gonna type shop and go for it. So we start with the daily time frame. We got a one candle. Okay, we got no statistics when it comes to climate. Why? Because this is a relatively new stock, and the way the stats are calculated here, it's understood as not enough data to have a proper calculation, at least on TradingView. And therefore, we know we are in an up climate, but I don't have statistical data, okay? And, again, the beauty of the stock market is that we got many, many stocks. So I don't know you, but when I'm missing information, I certainly understand I don't need to force a trade because I got many stocks to choose from. So I'm just going to pass and go for the next one and be happy. Okay, so what the next one? IVV, which is an ETF. I'll pass on that. SPY and ETFs, I'll pass on that. The next one is MasterCard. Okay, so we are going to now move and use MasterCard. Okay, so MasterCard, we got 3 candles out of 8. Okay, so we are in a proper climate. The EMA is 256. Okay, 256 is the EMA. So if I move into my 55-minute time frame, we have an EMA, a UFO between 263 and 258. Okay, 63 and 58, and I said the EMA is 56. Okay, so look, initially it doesn't work because 56 is below 58. Okay, but let's face it, the current price is 271. To drop to 256, that's a pretty massive drop. Could it happen in one day? Of course it could happen in one day, but it's probably going to happen in a bit more than one day. And what's going to happen is that as you are seeing this candle close today and a new candle begin tomorrow, you will see that EMA continue moving higher. In other words, today being 256, it doesn't line up with the UFO we found on the 55-minute time frame. But tomorrow or the day after, I would say it's pretty likely that it's gonna line up. Okay, so I'm just turning on AutoUFOs again and notice again that 263, 250, 258 UFO, that is probably going to be a valid entry for this trade. Okay, so I'm not gonna plan it. Okay, I'm not gonna plan it, but for the ones of you that want to keep a note and go back tomorrow and check MasterCard, certainly that would make sense. Next one, we got LRCX, okay, Lam Research. Okay, so let's take a look at LRCX. Melanie, I just see that you wrote one column to the left. I'm not sure. I don't know what I was saying when you wrote that. So if you don't mind to make a note, if it's still relevant, and let me know please on the chat box, and I will take care of it. So 249 is the price of the average for LRCX. We got 3 out of 7 candle, so climate is okay. So we are looking at 249, and when looking at the 55-minute time frame, we have 249. We got nothing. Okay, but we have a UFO a little higher. So again, similar to MasterCard, you may want to come back tomorrow and take a look because we may have a situation that implies taking a trade. Okay, so UNH, United Health Group Incorporated. Let's take a look at UNH. Okay, so what do we have with UNH? So we have an EMA at 251. Climate is 3 out of 6. Okay, 3 out of 6. So it's valid. So 251 is right there, and we do have a UFO right there that does line up with 251. Okay, we do have a UFO right there that does line up with 251. Okay, so we're gonna have to plan on a trade here. Okay, so I'm gonna see if I can reconnect my trade station. So I can load the option chain. Okay. You know what? I'll turn on a scanner just in case. I'll look at the non-directional. And I'm going to load Option Station Pro. Okay, so Option Station Pro. Okay, it's loading on my other computer screen. So I'll bring it to you. This is Option Station Pro. Here we go. So we are looking at UNH, correct? Am I saying this correctly? Yes, we are looking at UNH, okay? So we have a possible opportunity here with UNH to take a trade at 261, assuming UNH is going to fall and reach that point, okay? So we're going to have to do some planning here. So in the Analysis tab, okay, I'm doing a little bit of cleaning, sorry for that. So in the Analysis tab, we are going to okay, we are going to have to input the entry and the target. So the entry is going to be 261.62. So 261.62 is the entry price, okay, for UNH, which coincides with the green UFO right here, which, remember, 261, if I move back from the 55-minute time frame to the daily, so 261, like, oh, wait a minute. It's 251, not 261. So let me go back to 55. And yes, okay, got it. So I do have it. I got confused for a minute with so many switching screens. So 251.39, okay? 251.39, that's the value for our entry, okay? So it was not 261, it was 251.39. That's the entry, okay? So next question is, okay, let's say I wait for UNH to fall, come to 251. I'm gonna take a trade, and what do I expect? I expect it to go higher, okay? But go higher until when? When am I going to take profits? Okay, and this is when the daily time frame comes into place, where we would now look at where is the next UFO, which, as you can see on the daily time frame, is located at 297.89. Okay, this is where it is. So 297.89, that is the location of the UFO in the daily time frame. Okay, so in other words, the value below is the entry, the value above is the target. Okay, and I'm not going to set a stop below the entry, okay, because we're going to use an option strategy that has the risk limited and predetermined by default. Okay, limited risk. Okay, when you buy options, the most you can lose is what you pay for the option. So we are gonna either buy a call or buy a call spread, and therefore whatever we pay in the premium paid, that's the most we can lose. Okay, so we are not going to use stops. So that way we allow, especially if you look at the 55-minute time frame, this is a very convenient setup because we have multiple UFOs, isn't it? So let's say price drops, okay, from current price, gets to 251, you expect it to bounce. Let's say it just bounces a bit or it doesn't bounce at all and comes back down. Well, if you had a stop, you'd be out and you would lose. But what's right below? There is another UFO. So that may be the one that in the end brings it back up. Okay, so not using stops allow you for the market to move against you temporarily and finally start moving away. And we have a good example of this. Okay, let me see if I can load the chart or not. Okay, because it's a little bit of situation where you need to cross fingers. The way my internet works at the moment, every time I type a new symbol on TradeStation, okay, so we'll see. But we have a stock, okay. I'll just plot it here on TradingView. Is BMY. Some of you may be in this trade, okay, and when we took the trade, okay, we took the trade more or less here. And since we took the trade, the stock just has been going against us, but now it's coming back. Okay, so depending on time to expiration, etc. Okay, there are cases like that where the stocks comes back after a while and you are back in business. And of course, when that happens, you are not going to make a lot of money, but it's either you make a little bit instead of having a full loss. And when those things happen, actually it's quite advantageous. Okay, so you have the risk limited, and you are just giving yourself additional time for the trade to work out. Okay, so it's a smart approach to the trade in that sense. Okay, cool. Okay, so back to UNH. Okay, so now let's go ahead and go back to the option chain. I also need a calculator. Option chain and the calculator, because we said the target is going to be 297.89. The entry is 251.39. So we are talking about a $46 move. Okay, that's really not a joke. It's a very, very big move. So I think that, limitations there will come from the expiration date, from the earnings date. Okay, we'll see that in a minute. But anyway, let's pretend there is no earnings. So $46.5 is the room for price to travel until we get to our final target. I want to turn on, let me turn on the average true range. Okay, so the average true range for that stock is $4. Well, that's 55-minute time frame. Let's look at the daily. So the daily average true range is $18.52 with the current level of volatility, which obviously it's not normal. Okay, it's really not normal, but okay, it's what it is. So we're gonna use that value. So 46.5 divided by 18.52. This tells you 2.5 ATR is the amount of time you need to get to the target. Okay, but remember, we give ourselves 7 days of time per ATR. So 2.51 times 7, this is basically 18 days, okay, that we are allowing ourselves to be in the trade to reach that target. So when I think of 18 days, I think of two things. Number one, looking at the option chain, I think of 15, 22. So, 22 would give me 18 days, okay? So that's what I would need. But I'm not going to take 22 just because my calculation said 18. I also need to look at the earning dates for the stock. Okay, I click on the E. Okay, and notice how the earning date happens to be April 15, which is 5 days from now. So in other words, if I was to take this trade, I may get in trouble because of many reasons. Okay, number one, because I don't have time to get to my target and earnings is going to explode on my face. But the worst is not that. The worst is that prior to earnings, okay, and we are 5 days away from earnings, prior to earnings, the prices of options are normally very overpriced. And if I was to buy options, so what's going to happen now is that I'm going to pay a lot, okay, compared to what I would pay in other situations, okay? And again, the TradeStation scanner is doing a very nice job filtering this out because there is options data built in the TradeStation scanner. Unfortunately, I cannot do that with TradingView and Finviz, and therefore the normal outcome of running the process the way I'm doing manually here. So the normal outcome would be to end up with many trades that you discard like I'm doing now, okay? So a way to be a bit more efficient, okay, would be the following, okay? So again, I turn off AutoUFOs, okay? I only have auto climate. I'm looking at a daily time frame. I go back to my Finviz list, okay? And what I do, I continue with the list, okay? So NVIDIA, okay? So I go for NVIDIA. But now what I do when I load NVIDIA, the first thing I do is look at how far the E is. Okay? In this case, the E is in the middle of May, okay? So that's better. Okay, that's better. But the idea will be to go through the list looking for stocks that are further away. So AVGO, what I meant by further away, I mean the earnings further away. Okay, in the case of AVGO, look at that, 4th of June. That's a much better situation in the sense that this is likely going to provide cheaper options. Okay, and again, you will need a platform like TradeStation, Thinkorswim to be able to assess how expensive or cheap options are as we speak. But at least having earnings far away will give you, a better market opportunity from that point of view. Okay, so let's do it. So what do we have? We have the EMA being 246. So I'm going to move to the 55-minute time frame, turn on AutoUFOs. Okay, we're looking at 246. Okay, and I got 247, 251, so it's not good. Okay, so back to the daily. The next one was that's an ETF, NEE. Okay, NEE. So we look at NEE. One candle for the climate, earnings end of April. That's quite close. So let's go for the next one. ANTM. ANTM earnings end of April. It's quite close. This is an ETF. The Trade Desk TTD. Okay, so earnings beginning of May. Okay, I'd like to find something like June. Okay, Home Depot, Lulu, so HD. This may be better. Let me see. This is 19th of May. So we are about to conclude the session here. So look at that, Lulu. Okay, so Lulu is 10th of June. So 192 is the EMA on the daily time frame. So when I move to the 55, 192, do we have a UFO? We don't. Okay. What about Home Depot? So 55 in the time frame. The EMA is 191, 191, and we have 188 and 194 is above. Yeah, so 189. Okay, so yeah, it's not gonna work either. So we need to keep going. Okay, I guess that we all see the convenience of the scanner, right? CME, Signa. So let's take a look at CME. Earnings to close, Signa, CI, earnings to close. So LIN and then McDonald's. So LIN, this is what? 8th of May. MCD, McDonald's. Like to find further away earnings. That's very close. Okay, so next page. Goldman Sachs, Stryker. So Goldman Sachs, very close, the earnings. SYK. Earnings very close. ACN, Facebook, Autodesk. Okay, that's good. So ACN is providing earnings very far. That's June, end of June. Okay. So one candle out of 8 for the climate, that's good. 166 is the EMA. So let's take a look at UFOs. 166, yes. That UFO right here, it's our candidate. Okay, so 167.62, that's ACN. So let me load ACN. Let's see if we can at least put one trade together, isn't it? Okay. Yeah. So 167.62. One 67, 62. That's the entry. And the target, okay, I'm going to move to the daily time frame, and the red UFO will be the target. So the target is 180.92. Okay, 180.92. That's the target. 180.92. Okay, so let's take a look. Average true range. Okay, in the daily time frame is 10.78. Okay, so calculator, please. Here is the calculator. So target 180.92, entry 167.62. So we are dealing with 13.3, and the ATR is the ATR is 10.78, as you can see on the bottom right. Okay, so 13.3 divided by 10.78 is going to be 1 point something times 7. So we're expecting this trade to be 9 days. Okay, 9 days. So again, same story. When looking at 9 days, okay, I got two questions in my mind, which is number one, I could do this trade using April 24, which is 15 days. It's more than 9, and it's above 8, so that would be the one. But also remember, we said the earnings are happening on 25 of June, and the rules have us use that expiration date to minimize problems. Okay, when it comes to time decay and enhancing the value of the option based on volatility rising into earnings. Okay, so 19th of June is the closest one. Okay, it's 71 days to expiration. Okay, and therefore I'm just gonna pick a call. Okay, you can see liquidity for options on Accenture is not amazing at all. Okay, even though I traded them before, and if you are very aggressive beating in the middle, market makers will normally take you, because it's not like there is that many trades going on. Okay, so many times they will take you. I want to show you the volume for today. So how many of those options have been traded? 13 contracts, 5 contracts, 7 contracts. So it's very little volume. And that's good and bad. It's bad because of slippage if you plan to go out. But you don't plan to go out, isn't it? You don't plan to go out with a stop, I meant to say. So in that sense, it's fine for you to negotiate hard between the bid and the ask and hopefully get a better price, okay? So anyway, I'm just gonna analyze them by a single. I'm not gonna do a vertical spread here because the lack of liquidity, it would hurt 2 units instead of 1. So I'm just gonna go for 1 because liquidity is more limited. And remember, the rule that we have is that we want a delta, okay, at the entry, we want the delta to be around 30. Okay, if I use the 180 call, I got a delta of 37. Okay, if I go for the next one, okay, and all sorts of things that are happening on my end today, technology-wise. The next one is the 185. Okay, so I'm going to add it from here, analyze them by a single one. So if I disable the 180 and I only leave the 185, well, notice how the 185 does have 30 delta. Okay, so I'm going to get rid, okay, of the 180 and add the 185. The 185 got 5 contracts only today. Okay, so the bid price is 817, the ask price is 10, midpoint 935. I would start with 9, even more aggressive than the midpoint, and let's see what happens. Okay, and you can see how that happens the moment it's time for you to get filled. Okay, which again is no time for you to get filled at this price. Okay, it's not time for you to get filled at this price. Let me add customize columns. Yeah, give me 1 second, guys. 1 second. So I am trying to use my other computer screen because of different resolution to do something I would like to do, and I'm not sure why, but I cannot do it. Okay, I just want to add the theoretical price at entry. It's only showing me the theoretical P&L, not the theoretical price. Okay, so anyway, so yeah, it's gonna be $425 cheaper than that price. Okay, so you would expect this option to be worth uh, do you guys see my screen properly? I think so, right? No, I can see you don't. Okay. Yeah, I see my mistake. Okay, now you do. Okay, so yeah, I was saying at the entry, back to the calculator, um, we're gonna be $418 below the midpoint. So if the midpoint is 935 and you subtract, let's call it 415 because it keeps fluctuating, obviously. So it's gonna be around $520. So this trade will have around $520 of value the moment you get filled that entry. Okay, entry for this trade is 167.62. Okay, so it's no time for you to enter a trade now at the current price because the current price of Accenture is 178.10. But the moment that stock drops from 178.10 to the value 167.62, you will want to enter this trade. Okay, and this trade, I would not suggest that you enter it manually. I would suggest you guys to enter it. Sorry, I would not suggest you to guys to enter it with a waiting order. I would suggest you guys to enter it manually because you need to negotiate this very wide spread, which is very uncomfortable. Okay, so the trade is valid in that sense, but the spread here it's certainly problematic. Okay, so how can you deal with that? Well, probably the best way to do this would be to place an alert on TradingView. You know, alerts on TradingView reside on the server side, okay, and therefore they reside on the server side, and therefore even if your computer is off, you will be alerted. Okay, so 167 something is the entry. Okay, so I'm just gonna place my alert around 170, something like that. Okay, so add alert. Okay, if it gets to let's call it 170. Okay, if it gets to 170, no, wait a minute. I have an alert on AutoUFO. I don't want that. I want an alert on price. Add alert. Here we go. So if it gets to 170, only one, alert me. Okay, send me a notification on the app. Send me an email, a pop-up, everything. Okay, and I would say ready to buy the 185 call if ACN reaches 167, I think it was 39. Am I correct? 62. 167.62. Okay, so I made my note. I got 170, which is like $3 before. Currently, it's trading at 178. Okay, so I need to drop $8 and then I will be alerted. So I'm just gonna click on create, and the alert is in. And this will take us to the end of the session today, which has been certainly not a normal session. And I really appreciate you guys sticking with me and showing your commitment, because today, obviously, I have been 20% as efficient as I would be able to be with no technology issues. Okay, so I hear your message now, Melanie. Thanks for that. Yeah, the split screen was my error with the broadcasting software I use. I made a mistake. Very good, everybody. So, guys, thanks for joining me. I hope to see you on Sunday. Remember, we have a very special session on Sunday with sharpening. Bring your questions. You can also email the questions if you're not going to be available on the day. Send the questions. I'll go over the answers, and then you can watch the recorded session on the YouTube channel, isn't it? And also watch your emails, because we'll be sending soon confirmation. Hopefully we can make it happen. It's looking like that, so hopefully we do make it happen. And on the 20 and 21, we'll be running that trading plan class, followed by probably the day after a backtesting class as well, which the two together could be very, very powerful to get you very busy during the time where we are all limited to stay home. And hopefully, use wisely your time and take your trading to the next level this way. Okay, so see you soon, everybody. You guys are the best. Thank you for your patience with the technical issues today, and keep up the good work. See you soon, everyone. Take care. Bye bye.